Good afternoon, Charles. Leonard Parker here. Wanted to put together this video review of your website just so that we have some talking points for our meeting tomorrow. And in this video, I'm just going to go over some things that I'm seeing. If we were to work together for your SEO, that these would be some of my priorities as we started. So there are several areas that I'm going to go over. First is your website's on-page SEO. And just going to go over briefly the different issues that I found. From there, I'm going to move on to your technical SEO. So more so from a technical perspective, some things that could be improved. And then finally, towards the end of the video, I'm going to review your website's off-page SEO. And this is when we talk about link building and just really building your brand through backlinks from other authority websites. Now, starting with the on-page SEO. Now, look through your different pages on your website, and I'm going to share with you this spreadsheet. And these are some of the issues that I found that really don't fall in line with best practices for your on-page SEO. So I'll quickly go through each of these tabs here so I can figure out how to move this. There we go. So first thing, 404 errors. So these are 404 errors are just the technical term for broken links. So it looks like there are a couple of links here that you're linking out to that are no longer active. Either they changed the URL or that particular page isn't available anymore. So we want to make sure we unlink whatever's linking to these links. Your page titles. Now your page titles, and just so you know what I mean by page title, you see here I'm on your home page. So you see this little box that popped up that says Charles Addy, Houston Area Financial Planner. That would be the title tag or page title for your home page. And so that's one of the most important areas to optimize for with your on-page SEO, because anything that's included in that title tag, that pretty much tells search engine crawler, so each search engine, Google, Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, all of those search engines have crawlers that review your website, and page title tells them exactly what the page is about. So, if a search engine crawler review your homepage, they're going to say that, okay, this is about Charles Addy, and this is something related to Houston Area Financial Planner. And then they'll review the rest of the content on your site. And search engine crawler, that's just a fancy term for like a robot computer that does that reviews every website on the web. Now, going back to the spreadsheet here, best practice is that you have your page titles within 70 characters. Or I should say 65 characters, because some letters, they're wider than others. And so the risk with that, if you don't follow that, I'll show you quickly here. So your URL is theblueprint360.com. theblueprint360.com. So you see here, so all of these are good, but you see here how for this the medical professionals page, it's cut off at the end. And that just doesn't really look good, right? Because you don't have your full message. So I would find a way to shorten that so that everything fits within that 65 character limit. So that's in a nutshell what's going on with the page titles that are too long. Now, moving on to the next tab, you have pages that have the same page title. So just a good SEO practice, every page on your website should have its own page title. You can think about this, if you had a room of 100 books and they're all about different topics, you wouldn't expect them any two of those to have the exact same title. And you want to follow that practice here. So each page should have its own title. And it looks like you have some different things going on here. So I'm not sure. So your Why Blueprint 360 page, you have this version, and then you have the second version that has a question mark at the end. So, once I can dig into your website, figure out what might be going on there, we can get issues like this resolved. Now for your financial insights section, so this is like your blog. Pretty much what's going on here is pagination. So you have multiple pages of your blogs, but they all have the same title. So that's a fairly easy fix once we get under the hood, but you just want to make sure you clean up things like that. Now moving on to meta descriptions. So meta descriptions, that we're looking at the search results, it's going to be this little snippet here under the URL. And you can see here, what these three ellipses dots tells me is that the meta description for this page right now is too long. It should be between 156 and 160 characters. So that's why it's being cut off. So you want to make sure that you want to use your meta description almost as a mini advertisement for your page. So whatever would entice someone to click through to that page, maybe you can talk a little bit about your experience. Maybe you can, this is where you want to get more into like the marketing language, the sales language. You would add that here in this snippet. Now, what I saw, there's actually quite a few pages that are missing a meta description. Now, this is important because if you were to, so regardless, Google is going to pull a meta description from that page, and usually it's not going to be text that you want. So it's going to be something that doesn't make sense. So we just did one example here. Let's see. Let's do our technology page. Let's see what Google is pulling there. Just so you know, I'm mentioning Google, but it pretty much works the same for all the search engines like Bing, Yahoo, and so forth. So luckily, it pulled something that makes sense. We have aligned ourselves with industry leaders in technology to enhance your wealth management experience. So that's actually really good. But sometimes it will pull something that doesn't make sense or doesn't really entice the person searching for wealth management services to click. So you want to make sure you have as much control over that as possible. And then, of course, you always want to include some type of call to action. So click here to learn more, learn how we can help prepare you for a bright financial future. Something, again, that's going to entice that user to click. So that's missing meta descriptions. Now, duplicate meta descriptions, just as it sounds, there are multiple pages that have the same meta description. So similar to page titles, you want each of your pages to have a unique meta description. And that's just best practice for SEO. So the next thing here are multiple H1 tags. So when you're looking at a website, right, and I'll go back to your home page. So each page on your website you can think of as a little book. And so the page title we already went over, you can think about that as the title of the book. Your H1 tags, you can think about those as the titles of the chapter. So, and let's say, each page has only one chapter. So you're only going to have one chapter about medical professionals. You're only going to have one chapter about married couples and so forth. So you want to make sure that you only have one H1 tag per page. And what I'm seeing here, this list keeps going, but you're using business owners quite a bit. And so even where on pages where it's not the most descriptive H1 that you could use. So for example, for individual families, the H1 tag is still business owners. So you might want to change that to something like financial planner for individuals and families in Houston, or Houston financial planner for individuals and families. Something like that. That's something we can kind of hash out, but that's where you want to be thinking for your H1 tags. And then finally, your images. So you see here the issue here is missing alt text. And so just to kind of give you an idea what that refers to, so I'm sure you're aware that people who might be visually impaired might be on your website. So obviously they can't see, what this image is. They can't see it. What that alt text tells them is, okay, I can't see this image, or I'm having a hard time seeing this image. But if we put something in there like the alt text like Houston Financial Planner for individuals and families, that's going to tell that user exactly what that image is about. And that's important because, including the alt text, that makes your website more user friendly. So not only can people who aren't visually impaired view your website or use your website, but people who are visually impaired can as well. And Google really likes websites that are user friendly. So that's definitely another way you can optimize for different keywords, and also make your website user friendly. So definitely important to clean that up as well. And so that's the summary of your on-page issues. Now I'm going to get a little bit into the technical SEO. And the main thing I saw here was your website is missing what's called JSON LD schema. So this is a free tool from Google. It's called the Google Structured Data Testing Tool. And basically what schema does is a special snippet of code that you add to your website. And it gives different contextual information about your business. So for example, for Blueprint 360, in that schema, you would specify that you are a Houston-based financial planner or financial services business. You're located at this address. Your hours are from, what are your office hours? Let's see. Your hours are from 8 to 6. And that's really the information that the search engine crawlers need to figure out what your website is about. So all these things work together, and adding that structured data presents your information in a way where search engine crawlers can better analyze it and rank you based on that information. So that pretty much wraps up the on-page SEO and the technical SEO. And honestly, it's not the most exciting part of SEO, but I look at it like this. If we were to compare this to a house, and let's say your website is a house for your business. You wouldn't build a house with a bad foundation. So, you wouldn't build a house in a pit of quicksand. And when you're trying to do SEO, and, before you can get into some of the more popular SEO activities like link building or doing PR, you have to make sure that your foundation is in order. So this is always, the on-page SEO, the technical SEO. This is always where I start, as far as optimizing a website. Because you can get the best backlinks in the world, but if your foundation isn't in order, you're not going to get the most benefit that you can from those backlinks. So that's why it's very important. And sometimes just by doing the on-page SEO, you'll see improvements right off the bat. So just keep that in mind. Now, talked about on-page, we talked about technical. Let's talk a little bit about off-page SEO. And since you are a local-based business here in Houston, one thing that you want to look at is what's called your citations, your business citations. And your citations, you can think of these as third-party references to your website. And so for your typical business, you're going to have a profile on Google My Business, which we're looking at right here. You're going to have a Facebook business page. You're going to have a LinkedIn company page. You're going to have a Yelp profile. You're going to have a profile on MapQuest, a profile on superpages.com. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on. But what you want to make sure is that not only is your business listed on those different websites, but that all of your information is correct. So your business name, your business address, your hours of operation, your phone number. You want to make sure that those are all consistent, because when they're not, then it throws up red flags to the search engines that, hey, how legitimate is this business if their phone number is one thing on Google My Business, but it's something completely different on Facebook. And so when I did a review of your citations, I did find issues like that. Looks like I need to refresh here, so let's see. So one moment while that reloads. So something that I saw right away, and I'll go back to your website. So here's your number on your website. It's 5575. It ends at 5575. On your Google My Business, your number is something completely different, 7402. So that right there would throw a red flag to every search engine crawler, because Google My Business is probably the most important citation. And if your number isn't right there, then that's not a good start. Now, if we look at this complete list here, so I'm using the information directly from your website, that 5575 number. You can see some of the different issues that are going on with your citations. So for some reason, this might have been one of your other businesses, Townwood Tax Service. You have a different address. You have different phone numbers on some of these listings. On your Yelp, it's a different phone number. And I'll send you a screenshot of all of these so you can see for yourself. But once we clean up, the on-page SEO, and even as we're doing it, I would really like to clean up some of these, these citation issues, because, if your business has one number on one website and a number on another website, that's just not really strong. That's not a good look for your brand. So you just want to make sure that you clean things like that up. Now, moving on. So those are your citations. That's the first area I would focus on for your off-page SEO. And then we get into link building. So I plugged in your website to a tool called Ahrefs. Basically, it tells me all of the websites that are linking back to your business. So, you have some pretty good sites here, hcms.org, Proline Creative, and so forth. ThinkAdvisor is a really good one. So you want to make sure that, any organizations that you're affiliated with, either they're financial services related, or, maybe they're related to your alma mater, LSU, or, any causes in the community that you help out with or you donate to. You want to try to get backlinks from those websites, because they add more relevance, from a financial services standpoint and from a local standpoint. And so for your link building, you want to try to, always combine the two. Try to get backlinks from financial services related websites and from local websites here in Houston. Now, I won't go too deep into this, because, for any backlink strategy, it's more than just about building backlinks. I really need to understand a little bit more about your target audience. I know you have your different groups that you serve on your website, but going into 2019, what are 2 or 3 of those demographic groups are the priority? And we need to try to go out and get backlinks from websites that cater to those demographics. So I'll include a list of questions, that you can think about, for our meeting tomorrow, and we can kind of chat through just to see kind of what would be a good strategy moving forward for your overall on-page and off-page strategy. And so the last thing I wanted to go over, and you're involved in FinCon, so I'm sure you're aware that video is all the rage. And the benefit for you is that you are attending FinCon, some about some of these different marketing strategies, but I really want you to get on video. And I think financial advisors, I'm not sure why that's very difficult, in my experience, but I want you to focus on, trying to make a video once a week. Maybe you can start off having like a more general video where you introduce someone to your firm, and, you tell them a little bit about your background and why you do what you do, and kind of really, provide your unique selling proposition. And, what we do with those videos, we add them to YouTube. And YouTube is still kind of a SEO hack, because, I just typed in Houston Financial Advisor, and, you have some people on here doing videos, but if you look at these, none of them are just, absolutely, stand out, right? So if you were able to come in and, put together a good 10 to 15 videos starting off, you'll really set yourself apart. Because remember, YouTube, it's owned by Google. It's the second largest search engine behind Google. YouTube, when someone searches, that's still the search engine. And depending on the keywords that you're targeting, your videos can show up in the search results. So ideally, we're looking at, what would be the ideal scenario for you, for your SEO. When someone types in Houston Financial Planner for married couples, that's a long-term word, but, it'll be less competitive than just Houston Financial Planner. And that's probably not the best example because I wanted a map. Let's see. Yeah, let's just stick to Houston Financial Planner then. So you see here, if you're fee only, we could get you on this fee only network list. But ideally what we want is to have you show up in the maps here. Have you show up in one of these feature snippets. This section here is called a feature snippet. So whenever you see a box like this, and this is the same, this is called a feature snippet. See how it kind of just stands out? We want to get you there. We want to get you in the maps, and we want to get you somewhere here in the organic listing. And we can get that through one of your, do your website, do a YouTube video, or even do a Yelp profile. But that's called the search engine domination, where you're in multiple places on the same page, because it's all probability when you look at it. If you're on this first page more often than your competitors, then you're more likely to get that click. And then from there, it's all about your website and the content on your website converting that prospective client. So I'll end the video there. I hope that's been helpful. Really looking forward to meeting with you tomorrow, and hope you have a great rest of your evening. Take care.